Hey everyone, welcome back to the Diaspora channel. I'm Kai and thanks so much for tuning in tonight. Oluchi, I can see you in the chat. How are you doing? Kindly thumbs up the stream as you join. Waiting for our guests to join us. Oluchi, how are you? Had a good day? I hope your day is going well for those of you that is still daytime. And thanks again for tuning in. It's so important for us to appreciate those in our community that are doing the best they can to support our young ones. So I'm very excited to have him on board with us tonight. So prepare your questions and make sure once we're about to round up, if you have anything, just I'll leave the link in the chat so you guys can join the conversation. So if you can hear me clearly in the chat, just say yes. Say yes if you can hear me clearly in the chat. Guys, can you hear me? Can you? Just let me know with a yes, then I know we are good to go. Hey, wow, go see. Thanks so much for joining the live. Please don't forget to thumbs up and share the stream so more people can join us. We have the lovely Mrs. Dorothy in here with us. Thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate each and everyone in the stream. How was your day? Trying to share the stream here. And let me know how you guys coping. That's good. That's good to hear. So you're doing anything special tomorrow? Tomorrow, Sunday, though, is still the lockdown is still on. Are you doing something special to lift your spirit up? You know, it's very important. We need to lift our spirit up. So if you have anything planned for tomorrow, drop that in the chat. Let me see. I did share already so many times here that we have online service for those of you that are believers. I always share on my channel. Once we go live, I always share with you guys. So you really have to keep things going, to keep your mind how it's supposed to be, because it's so not easy at this time. You know, this whole thing is so new for all of us. So you just have to do what you can do to keep yourself going. Oh, okay, church at 10 a.m. Okay. All right. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, we have Sayce is here now. I just need to add him. So whilst So if you guys have any question, just prepare your question for him. Yeah. One sec. Okay, let me add him. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. We have Sayce Holmes with us this evening. I'm so honored to have you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Can you hear me? Because I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. I'm having terrible issues with my Wi-Fi. Is that still bad?
Chat, can you hear Sayce? I really don't want to make this go high. You can hear me, yeah?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yeah. Much
Okay.
better. Much
Okay, good
better.
stuff.
So thanks so much for joining the stream tonight. Sayce
No problem.
Lewis is youth. He's so great with what he's doing with our youth here, and I really appreciate you big time. So that's why I'm like, you need to come out and share with the lovely people in the chat what you do, and then we'll see what we can do for you as well. So go
Okay.
ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, yeah. So you've introduced my full name. So Sayce Holmes Lewis. I grew up in Southeast London. So I grew up on the Aylesbury Estate, close to Old Kent Road and Peckham. 26 years of my life, I lived on the Aylesbury Estate. Yeah, my story started when really my father left at the age of 8. So I had a lot of issues when he left because I didn't have that role model, that father figure. And then I found football, which football saved me. So I wanted to be a professional football player, and that's what I really focused my energies on. But I didn't take it seriously up until the age of about 14. And then I literally really took it serious because I saw one of my friends get stabbed, and I was like, nope, I'm not going to hang around with these guys anymore. I'm going to focus on something and myself. And I started focusing on football. And what I realized when I started focusing on football, my my educational attainment just shot up because I just wanted to learn in terms of on the pitch and off the pitch. So yeah, I reached the target of playing professional football at the age of 19. So I moved to the Republic of Ireland, age 19, got my first professional contract. Then I went to Romania, had a stint in Romania, had a terrible agent who messed up my deal. I had a 3-year contract, so I had to come back to England and then play semi-pro. And that's when I started working with young people after a horrific injury. I broke my ankle and leg in a terrible accident on the pitch. And because I invested so much time in football, I literally had nothing to fall back on. So I started working with young people, coaching and in schools. And that's when I really started to fall in love with something other than football, which was helping and engaging young people. So I was 22 at that time. So I started working with young people seriously in 2006.
Okay, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, so when my son was born in 2006 also, and I just realized that there was more to life than just football, and that I needed to give myself to the community, but I had to be a role model for my son. So he was my main motivation to just really try and make the world a better place because, that's my legacy. That's something now which that's going to be, he's going to be in the world long after me, God willing. So I really wanted to just make that impact. And I just realized that I really just worked well with young people. So from there, I worked as a teaching assistant in the school. From there, then I moved to a pupil referral unit in Peckham, which was very, very difficult for a year. But I loved it, the most rewarding job I've ever had. And I stayed there for a year. And then I worked for Southwark Council as a full-time community sports head coach. So I became a professional coach. I did that for 6 years. At the same time, I worked for Greenhouse Sports, another charity that used sport to engage young people. And I went to university at the age of 28. So I went to study my degree at the University of East London. So I studied youth and community work with sports development, so a combined degree. And that's when I really honed the idea for my concept today, which is Mentivity, which is my organization I founded in 2016.
Right.
I experienced two redundancies, back-to-back redundancies, and I just said, right, I'm not working for anybody. I'm not doing
Mm-hmm.
this anymore. I'm done. And I just used the money for my redundancies and I just invested it in myself. I already got my degree, at the age of 32. I was studying full time, working full time,
Wow.
playing semi-professional football, had a family, part-time youth worker. So I did it the hard way because I wasted a lot of time when I was younger. So once I got my degree, that was my passport to everything that's happened in the last 5, 6 years. So I've always loved knowledge, but I didn't focus so much on academia because I was really a sporting kind of sports centered person. So, but I love to learn. So yeah, it just really started from there, and I founded Mentivity in January 2016 with
Yeah.
just myself. So yeah, Mentivity is an alternative educational provision and a mentoring organization. So we go into schools, provide one-to-one mentoring, support, teacher training, family support. We engage young people that are disengaged from society, but we also help supplement those that are gifted and talented too, and help raise aspirations.
Wow.
So we're running 4 years. We've done it 90% without government funding. So it's just been direct to the schools, and they pay for our services. So we're not dependent on the government. I refuse to do that because I just didn't want to be someone that is seen as a deprived young person and deprived young man. So I had a lot of pride after leaving the charities. I said, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to beg for what I can take.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, so yeah, that's kind of
That's
my
great.
journey.
That's great. Thanks so much for sharing that with us. So my question is for the people that are watching us or the one that watch later, if anyone want to help, how does that work?
So we have a website, and a Just Giving page. So we're actually fundraising at the moment.
Mm.
So what I'm looking through is the community. I see that all the issues that we have in society is a community issue, and if we pull our resources together, especially the diaspora, we pull our resources together. If 35,000 people just donated £1, we'd have our target. So we're trying
Oh,
to.
just a
So
pound.
yeah, I mean, 35,000 people, all it takes is £1. It's just a little by little. If we do it, then we can achieve big things. So you can check us out at www.mentivity.com. And then from there, you can navigate to our Instagram, our Twitter. But again, we've done a lot in 4 years. I mean, we've done so much. We've experienced some highs, some real lows.
Mm.
Funny enough, today is the anniversary of a young man that we lost 2 years ago. Someone
Yeah.
that I worked with I knew him since the age of 8, a young man by the name of Raheem Barton. So it's actually on Tuesday would be 2 years to the day, but it was Saturday, the 5th of March, 5th of May, 2 years ago that I lost him.
Wow.
So yeah, we've done a lot, and my passion to protect our young people and empower our young women and young men to be
Mm-hmm.
better than what we are currently. That it just is ever burning. So yeah, at Mentivity across all the social media platforms.
Okay. Okay, that's great. And right now you are raising some funds to help people in Uganda,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, Kenya. So
Yeah,
I know
both.
you recently went to Uganda as well. Can you talk a little bit more about that for the people that are not aware?
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a little bit of a backstory in terms of how that came
Right.
about. So after my degree, I was actually offered a chance to go to Canada to deliver a seminar. So
Okay.
someone reached out and asked me if I could do a seminar around youth empowerment and the work that I'm doing. This is in 2014. But I'd never delivered a seminar or anything abroad. So I was like, let me think about it. So then I checked it out. I sent over my details. I got a call back in about 10 minutes and they said, listen, we've
Oh,
just reviewed your application. Can you be our opening keynote speaker? And I was like, I'll call you back.
ah,
So I was actually in Brazil at the time. I was in Brazil for the World Cup as my present for graduating. So I was with my brother
mm-mm.
and my friend, and I said to them, "Look, they've asked me to be a keynote speaker. I've never done this." My brother is just very chilled. He's younger. My younger brother, he's a year younger. He just said, "Yeah, do it. If you crash and burn, it's not for you." And then my other friend Cedric,
I like that. I really like that. Oh dear.
and then Cedric was like, "Brother, you got this in the bag. Just go and do it." And I'm like, Oh, all right, cool. So I just said yes, and that was in June 2014, and the speech was in October Halloween, 2014. So they flew me out to Edmonton, to Canada. So I went out to
Okay.
Canada. I delivered my first ever keynote speech. It was a major success. But there was a man from Uganda, a guy
The
called
very first one.
yes, yes. So I spoke to 300 people, and there was
Okay.
a guy called Maru, he's a Nubian, so he's from Uganda. So Uncle Maru, as I call him, he reached out to me at the end and just said, "You're amazing. I need you to come to Africa and do your work and your programs and your football." And I was like, "Okay, cool, sure, let's get this going." But the conversations were ongoing for about 4 years,
What?
4 years. But he was connecting me with the wrong people.
Oh,
At the wrong time. That's what it was. It wasn't his fault. He was connecting me, but other
okay.
people weren't very serious. Until I came across a guy who was introduced to me, another Nubian, a guy called Yusuf Noah. His name is his kind of stage name is Rafiga Heavyweight. He runs Grandpa Records in Kenya, which is one of the largest record labels in Kenya. So he reached out to me, and I was just like, okay, another person's gonna let me down. Sure. Had a great conversation, and we just hit it off in February 2018.
Hmm.
And he literally said, "Look, I'm going to pay for your flight. I'm going to pay for your accommodation. I want you to come over. I've seen the
Okay.
stuff you've done with professional football because as a
Mm.
professional coach, I've worked with some of the biggest names in football at the moment, to be honest. So Jadon Sancho of Borussia Dortmund is a young man that I coach from a young age.
Yeah, I saw
Reese
that on,
Nelson of
yeah,
Hmm?
I saw that
Yeah,
on your
Reese. Yeah,
website.
yeah,
Yeah.
Reese. Yeah, Reese Nelson of Arsenal, Tammy Abraham of Chelsea. A lot of boys came through the program that we delivered at Southwark. So obviously, my portfolio, speaks for itself. I've helped a lot of players from grassroots to elite level. So it was only logical for me to go into the game as an agent and management of talent. But it's just taken a long time. But he invited me out, and upon arriving to in Nairobi, the first I was just it was an overwhelming feeling of just being home, and it was just immense. I got quite emotional, to be honest. It happened to me twice before when I
Okay.
went for Barbados and Jamaica. When I first landed in Barbados, because of the history and all the attachment to my family, and you know, it was just a very powerful moment. And just kind of backtracking, I went to Egypt in 2015, and I saw the Great Pyramid of Giza, and I was just, I, I was obsessed as a young man,
Right.
um, of around ancient Egypt. When I did history, I was obsessed, and it was always my dream to see the pyramids. Like as a kid, I was obsessed with them. So when I went, I knew I was going to Egypt. I got the best hotel I could, which had a view of the Great Pyramid of Giza, and I
Oh,
sat there.
wow.
I sat there for hours just looking at it. My girlfriend at the time was like, "Look, let's go to dinner." I'm like, "You can go. I'm just gonna
Not
keep
ready.
looking." So yeah, I'm obsessed with the continent of Africa and learning more, because when I was young, it was being African wasn't cool. Here we had the
Mm.
Jamaicans and they had the Caribbeans, and it was just like a civil war between us and Africans. And it was just self-hatred and conditioning. So yeah, it was amazing to finally get to Kenya and commence this football project, but also the
Mm.
mentoring and empowering your people and just bringing joy, because they saw it as like a homecoming, even though I'm not Kenyan. It was just
I know.
they they celebrated me. It was amazing. It was
Yeah,
amazing.
go ahead and share with the people in the stream. Where are you from originally?
So my family is from Jamaica and Barbados. So my mum's side's from Jamaica, my dad's side's from Barbados. But as you know, we're all African,
That's
of African
a
descent. That's
that
it.
that that's beautiful because what is happening to us right now for our global Black family is so nice to see us coming together because
Hmm.
we used to always act like most of the time that's like 5, 10, 20 years back. It's like anything that is
Hmm.
happening to Ghanaian is not my issue,
Mm.
those
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing. But right now it's like all of us, we are on the same page.
yeah.
So is so good to see that. And for someone that is doing what you're doing, we really have to rally behind you and support you, no matter how small, we can contribute,
Hmm.
even like a thank you. Because one thing I believe, I just hate the fact that someone is here doing amazing thing. We think like, oh, that person, he'll be around, but we
Hmm.
don't know. God forbid, the next day the person won't be here.
Yeah,
So that's
that's it.
why when it comes to people that I really, really admire what they are doing, I'm grateful for what they are doing. It's like I really had to call them out and
Hmm.
thank them, because I just don't know what will happen the next day. And then I'll
Yeah.
be there saying, oh, he was such a great man. Oh, he did this, those kind of things. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm so honored to really, really have you here. So people in the chats, you hear so much from Sayce already.
Hmm.
So when it comes down to the latest upload, for those people that haven't watched it yet, can you quickly go over what is happening right now in Kenya, what you want to do?
Yeah, so as I said, we set up the football academy 2 years running, two different football academies in Kenya. But I was in Kenya in October 2018 and November 2019, and with a short
Okay,
trip to Uganda. But what we're trying to do is bring Mentivity to the continent, to Africa. So we'll have Mentivity Africa very soon. COVID
great.
19 has put that at a delay, but we're very determined to make that happen. But Kibera or Kibera, however you want to pronounce it, is
Yeah,
obviously one of
TIA. Sorry, says TIA. I'm sure you know a little bit of about Kenya. Is it Kifra, or how do you say? Because I don't know. Is it Kifra? TIA. He have some link with Kenya. He's
the.
actually the first one that share the video that I
Okay,
post. Yeah.
yeah,
So I really, really appreciate that, TIA, for sharing the video. And we really, really need to support this brother. For those of you that are not here, you don't know much, but I'm going to upload another video showing you, what he's been doing here. Because if you don't live in the UK, you don't know what our boys are going through.
hmm,
So I don't know how even to thank him, but the little we can do is just to support him. And right now, go back to you, Says. Can you let us know exactly what you want to do there in Kenya?
yeah.
Chen,
So
thanks so much for joining. Yes,
yeah, so
sorry, go ahead.
that's fine. So yeah, in Kibera, when I first went there, I was just overwhelmed. I just literally saw the most extreme poverty I've ever seen, and I've been to places. I've been to Jamaica, I've been to the favelas in Brazil, I've been to places, but this was another level, and what I saw was just a disparity between those that have and don't have, which we know is across the world. But I saw happiness. I could not believe the amount of happiness I saw amongst the community. And I went to a group home and a school, and I just literally, I love children. So I was just spending time with them, listening to the stories, speaking to people, and I just felt compelled to do something. So we know that a lot of people in Kibra need to go out to make money to be able to eat. Now, with
Yeah.
the lockdown in Kenya, that's causing major problems. So, what we're doing is a fundraiser in conjunction with my friend Rafiga. So, it's Rafiga and friends. So, Samama na Kibra. So, stand up for Kibra. So, what we're trying to do is just raise some money to basically provide the basic necessities, the flour, the grain, the sugar, milk, whatever it may be, so that we can feed families. So typically, we've calculated to feed a family of six, it would
Mm,
cost us between £40 or 55 to 60 US
mm.
dollars for the month. So at the moment, we've raised 2,000 US dollars in a
Okay.
week.
That's
So
amazing.
it's amazing. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. So 2,000 US dollars in a week. We're trying to raise as much as we can. So we're really, really pushing this initiative to make sure we can feed those that need it, and just bring a little bit of happiness and much needed food to the families that need it. So it's important for me to give back. With whatever little you have or don't have, you must give back always, and it's so
100,
important to do so.
100%. So another thing is, I know you right now. What the main thing is the Kipra donation, that is the main thing you need to sort out now, right?
That's my, well, I'd say that's my main focus, but I'm focusing on so many different
Other
things.
things.
It's just how it goes. It's just the nature of it,
Mm,
and I try to be very, very driven in getting things done. But
mm.
sometimes something may come up, or a parent may call me, or I'm managing a team of 14 staff as well. So it's one of those things. But that's my main concern right now, is to raise that money for those in Kibera, because that's an extreme level of poverty, and we know that people are gonna end up, passing away, unfortunately, if they don't get what is needed. And I can't have that on my conscience and not know that,
Mm.
I have to do something, even
Yeah,
from this far away. I plan to emigrate to Kenya. That's my plan. I plan to move to Kenya. I want to
good.
live in Kilimani. I've already checked out the areas. I've looked in at properties. So that's my plan, to really just move everything that I have here,
Mm.
and go to Kenya, because, it's important that we go home, and because we know we've got so much expertise, and expertise is needed to build infrastructure back home. So we must do it ourselves. We can't be doing it with the Chinese or anybody. No one can solve our
Oh
problems.
no.
Only we can. So we have
Yeah.
to make sure we have to go home. And there's a massive movement. I think Bob Marley says it best in terms of Exodus, movement of our people, that we have to go back. And until we go back to where it all begins, we cannot solve
Mm-hmm.
the problems.
That's
We
right. That's
so
right.
that's the important thing, and I understand that, and I think more people are waking up to that, and it's really important that we spread that awareness and we spread that love. As I said, it's becoming such a community, and once we unify Africa and unify our efforts
Mm.
and really focus on ourselves without any outside involvement, then we'll reach where we need to get to. And I hope that I see that in my lifetime. But
You
even
will.
for I'm yeah, I
You
hope.
will, God willing. Yeah, you will.
Yes,
You are
God willing.
working hard for it. We are all coming together. So, yeah, we will definitely say we are doing
Hmm.
it for ourselves and our children. So,
Yes,
definitely it will happen. I hope you are able to read the comments in the chat.
I'll check now.
Are
I'll
you
check the
able?
chat.
Yeah. Because
I'll check the
Dorothy said
comments.
earlier, beautiful mixture. I think that's what she said. And
Okay.
we have Joanne Ware, Mrs. Ware here. She said it's exceptional. Yeah, exceptional. Caring man is okay. I think we lost him. So Ti, do you want to hop on board? I'm sure he'll come back again. I'm sure he pressed something. So let me quickly Ti add says, yeah.
Back. Here we
Say
go.
so,
So
yeah, if you can, then on this side,
yeah.
she just said you are exceptional and you truly are. So your parents should be very proud of you. And yeah, yeah. So what's next? We have
Yeah.
Emma. Emma said, this is wonderful. We need more people like you. God bless you. So the next one is God bless you, young man. Okay, that's for Mrs. Ware. And Chen, I know you are here. You are a teacher. Actually, I want to connect the both of you because we share so many things already that you told me, and I also experienced it whilst working in a school. So we really, really need to come together and start, pouring more into our youth here because we know what is happening. Thank God, I don't know, for this lockdown, coronavirus, everything, we didn't
Yeah.
hear any news of stabbing. So in one sense, I was like, God, I'm I'm
Yeah.
grateful for this,
But
when I talk about this, yeah.
yeah, but
So
they're still happening, and that's the sad thing about it, is that no one's talking about it, because everyone's preoccupied with coronavirus and COVID-19 and the lockdown. There was actually a killing of a young man in Birmingham last week,
no.
which a video was circulating. That's the only reason I came across it, and
Okay.
it's unfortunate these things are being circulated. But then, from my perspective, that our young people are seeing this, so we need to be aware of what our young people are being exposed to. And
Yeah.
it was very tragic, and very sad. But these things are still happening. Children are still out there. People are still losing their lives, but they're not talking about it because we don't matter. So that's the issue. We realize that, but we have to solve this as a community. I don't look
Mm-hmm.
to the government to solve anything.
Yes. It's on us.
Yeah, it
Definitely
is on us.
us.
Have to
Yeah.
mobilize. We have to mobilize.
So Sorry, Chen said that Mantraf teach of a man to fish and he will not ask for food. What other long-term project? He says helping the people in Kibera. Okay, that is for you, Says.
Hmm.
So do you
Sorry,
have
say that.
some other, apart from, because this one right now is because of the crisis,
Yes.
that's for Chen, yeah. So
Yeah.
but I think you came a little bit late in the chat, but he said it already. Is it's not only this one thing he's doing over there.
Mm.
So if you can just go over
Yeah.
that a little bit for Chen.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I'm the CEO of Mentivity, which is a mentoring organization and an
Yeah.
alternative educational provision. So we're in schools across London and Brighton. Brighton has major issues. We've done it without government funding. So 90% of our income and our turnover has been direct from the schools. The schools have invested in our service and pay for us to come into the school with the limited educational budgets. So that's been a challenge in itself, but we've survived. We've got about 10%, probably about 75K over 4 years of funding, which is
Mm,
nothing really.
mm,
Other than that, we've turned over 600 plus K in 4 years, which is crazy because this is my first time ever setting up a business and being self-employed. So there are 14 of us now, including my mum. My mum's a teacher. She works for me as well. Well, she works with us. My mum doesn't work for me.
she's
She never
helping
will.
you,
Yeah,
basically. She's
yeah,
helping you.
guided me as always. So
Bless
my
her,
my
bless
my
her.
my efforts are focused on young people across the world. I live in London, so that's where my primary efforts are focused. But again, Jamaica, Barbados. I've got a football academy in Barbados too that I initiated a whole program where young people came over here and tried to follow their dreams in professional football. So I actually had a young man living with me for, gosh, a year and under my guidance for from the age of 15 to 18. So I basically became his dad. So I have my hands in so many different pots. I'm trying to push so many different things. This is just the latest initiative that we're pushing. But my work
Mm,
is more so not in the shadows, but going into the schools, the early intervention,
mm.
providing the opportunities. We're announcing a major partnership with an investment bank next week, but I can't
Okay.
tell you who it is right now.
That's
So
okay.
yeah,
That's all right.
but really excited about that. So that's going to be an online program right now, but that will
Mm,
be delivered in schools. So very happy about that. And that's called the Raising Aspirations project, which is
okay.
essentially creating a pipeline for employment for young people in the areas of employment that they're interested in. So rather than them saying, "Oh, I want to be a football player or a musician, or I want to just work in Tesco's,"
Mm,
it's actually saying to them, "Right, what are you
mm,
passionate about?" Now, if you're creative, okay, I've got just this pipeline going into Google. But what we
mm,
do, we intervene at very key junctures. So year 6, when they go into secondary school, so 10 and
mm,
11,
mm,
year 9, so year 9, so 13 and 14-year-olds, so that they're now focused on picking the right options for GCSEs and
mm,
college and university. So the next part of the program will be these all corporations and organizations will
mhm,
create college programs, which we will then facilitate the mentoring, the informal education, train the staff in the corporate sector and the organizational sector, but also mentor the young people. So we're the middle ground between them. So what we're trying to do is create pipelines for diverse talent to go into these organizations that would never even have these, ideas in the first place. So, as a child, once you find something you're passionate about, you latch onto it, like I did
yeah,
with football. So football now has created this whole platform for me to run a mentoring organization, to become an educator, to become a
mhm.
youth worker, and so many different things. So
Sorry, guys.
it's all about following your passion. And if you don't follow your
Mm,
passion, then what are you doing? So one of the things I say to people and young people and adults and everyone that I come into contact with is you find your passion, dedicate yourself to it no matter what, and you persevere and you'll be fine. And I
that's
guarantee
true.
you'll be fine.
That's true. You're doing an amazing job. And I just dropped the link for the donation as well in the chat. Someone asked earlier. So the link is there. And still, the link is in the video I uploaded. So, whichever way you
Thank you.
want to go, please grab, go on that link, grab it, whatever you think you can support our
Really,
amazing brother. go ahead and do that because it's so needed. And he has a lot of things to do. So once we sort this thing out, we'll think about what is next to do here. And I love the fact that you're not only focusing in, on the motherland, because that's one thing also that is on my heart. We want most people, all of us, to go there, but we have to remember that still some of our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, that's where they are comfortable, they want to stay. We still have to do things for them as well. And those that are ready to go on the continent. So I really like that. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Uncle Don said this is amazing work the brother is doing. Indeed. Guys, the link is in the chat. So if anyone wants to join, I'm going to add This is Africa now. He said earlier in the chat he wants to share something with Sayce. So I'm going to add him now. So Sayce, still stay with us here. This is Africa. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm all right, thank you. And thanks for sharing the video. Really appreciate it. Go ahead and bless the brother with what you have.
Yeah, I've seen the work that you're doing in the video. I really do appreciate it. And by the way, I live between here in the U.S. as well as Kenya. I'm married to a Kenyan for 14 years.
Nice.
And I know Kibera very well. It's actually practically across the street from a very old African-grown nonprofit organization called AMREF. I'm not sure if you've heard of that yet.
I've heard of them. Yep.
Okay. Yep. I do have a friend that's been working there probably for the past 7 years, and he has a lot of connections in and around there. His name is Bethwell Mbukwa, and I would recommend going to see him to see if there's anything that you and the organization of AMREF could do about trying to get the word out a little bit more. Now, Bethwell Mbukwa is there pretty much like every day, Monday through Friday. He's in charge of the library now. And by the way, if you and your team don't have access closely to high-speed internet, they do have high-speed internet in that library from the time they open, from the time they close. I think it only costs like $1.50 US for the whole day.
Okay, great.
Amazing. So I would recommend that. And I'm sure you know that Kibera is not the only slum just in the city of Nairobi. My neighborhood of Embakasi, which is like 10 minutes from the airport, we have 2 small ones, and they're everywhere. But unfortunately, just like as you said, the problem is big. But the thing is that no matter how much money, and this is not a discouragement for anybody donating or anything like that, no matter how much money is going to go into it, and I hope the best for everything to work well, is there's always going to be too many people. And I would really recommend at some point in speaking to other people is that if people are working and they are able to provide for themselves, that you should be getting that food to the people who are not working.
Yes, precisely.
You know what I mean?
And yeah, I mean, the partners I have on the ground are trusted. They've become brothers to me since we've met, and I trust him with all my heart. And the Rafiga, he's actually a product of Kibera. He grew up there, so it's something very he's passionate about. The Kibera dream is of the academy and the mentoring program that we've launched last year. So again, it's just something that we're really passionate about. And with me, I never wanted to ever give to charity because I never trusted it. I used to see these adverts, never trusted it. I'd rather do charitable acts. I'd rather go and do it myself. So this is why when I put my name to something, that it's that 100% legit and that I'm doing it for the right reasons. So many people out here not doing it for the right reasons. So it's so important, and I agree with you.
Yeah, and another thing too is that a lot of people think that in Africa, when you actually have these conversations with certain people that are coming from the outside, is that they don't have their own grassroots organizations, which actually they do. And I've been told by some Kenyans here, because I belong to a Kenyan group that meets every 3 months, is that I was thinking, because they cater to people in Kenya as well as here. If there's a death in the family, there's a certain amount of money that's raised to pay for the funeral. And especially if you're in the U.S., it costs an average of $15,000 to send a body back to Kenya for burial. So what they were telling me was, why don't we just open up an office or whatever in Kenya, So it'd be a little bit easier to like track the funds and everything that's being donated to there when we need to. And they said it's actually a little bit harder to start up an organization in Kenya than it is here in the US. But even with that fact is that, you know, if people are wondering, there is a lot of grassroots organizations, no matter how small, that do exist in Kenya and other parts of Africa. If you want to work with them, you need to get with people on the ground. And in Kibera, the nice thing is that you have a lot of people that are born and raised in that area, and that are actually working those organizations.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as I said, I've been working with Open Arms, and I've got really great friends and people that I know there now. And I think it's about really just mobilizing our efforts collectively. There's people doing great work, but we're not doing it together. We're not integrated, and that's the biggest issue that we have, is the integration and everybody doing what they're actually good at, because people are trying to access money and do things that they're not actually competent at. And that's what the issue is. The partnerships are very, very key, and that's something I really focus on here and abroad. I spoke with Mentivity. We are nothing without our partners.
Right.
If we can't deliver something, I know someone as a trusted partner that can. I know someone that might be a creative director at a advertising agency. Right, you go and see them. If you want to play football, I've got this manager or this team. So it's about really just having a network, a trusted network. And I totally agree with you. It's just trying to sift through that bureaucracy and just the people that are in it for the wrong reasons. But this is just the start of what we're doing in Kibera and Kenya as a whole. We've had conversations with private schools about Mentivity coming in and delivering our services. We've lots happening over there. The football academy as well. There's a lot of people coming together, so it's going to be an exciting time. I'd love to work with you and see what we could do together.
Okay, I would recommend in the private chat behind here, I put in Bethel Mbukwa YouTube link. I've got another channel called Me Kenyans. And so I did about an hour-long interview of him last year when I went back to Kenya. So if you just click on there, you'll see who he is. So if you ever visit the office, you know who to ask for. And just let him know. Just let him know that Keith from Me Kenyans sent you. You know, if you ever decide to go that route. But he's not the only person there to work with. But I'm going to go ahead and get going. The Diaspora Channel, thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome. And it was nice meeting you, sir. And we'll talk again in the future, hopefully, here.
For sure. Definitely.
Yeah, before you go, you know, because you are not on Instagram and all those jazz. So can you drop your email quick in the chat, please?
Yes, no problem.
All right. Thank you. Thanks, T. Kelly, for joining. How are you doing, Sayce?
Yeah, good.
Thanks, everyone, for joining the chat. Really appreciate each and every one of you. So the link is in the chat. If anyone wants to call in, please go ahead and do so. Sayce, I didn't check. How long do you have?
I have some more time, but yeah.
All right.
It's
okay. Thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Do you see my email in the private chat?
Okay, one sec. Let me check. Yeah.
Yes, got it. Yeah, got it.
Let me quickly.
Okay, good stuff.
That down.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
You good?
I'm good.
Fantastic.
Okay. All right. Yeah, have a lovely weekend. And congratulations on your monetization.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure now you're going to give me more super chat these days.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Thanks for calling in.
You're welcome. Cheers.
Take care.
Bye. Yeah, Uncle Don is here. Let me quickly add him. Yeah, you're good to go, Uncle Don. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Can you hear me clearly?
Very clearly. Go ahead.
Great. So, greetings.
Greetings.
You know, I just wanted to just humbly take this opportunity to say thank you to the brother. And the reason why I'm saying this is because when I was trying to connect, I rewound the live stream just to make sure I can really understand what's going on. And bro, what you're doing is a great work.
Thank you. Appreciate it, brother.
To be able to create an opportunity, especially within a corporate space, so people that look like us will have a foot through the door in any capacity, but within a corporate space, that is amazing. Because I've experienced the barriers to entry as a young black man trying to get into a corporate space. I am in that now.
Yeah.
However, it wasn't easy. And not only was it not easy, it's only by the power of God that's got me there. So I really wanted to kind of just extend that kind of, express that appreciation.
I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we should definitely, if you're in a corporate space, definitely connect as well. It's about representation. We have a weekly Instagram live chat where we have young people, parents, professionals called Isolation Talks. And again, what we had Stuart Lawrence, so younger brother of Stephen Lawrence, on Monday. Yeah, so we had him on. So we're having features again, but also people that have made it into certain realms of the corporate sector, wherever it may be. But just an insight into your personal journeys. It's about sharing stories and sharing that knowledge and that experience, so that we can provide that pathway and that viable and clear, visible pathway for young people to get into their passions, and really just flourish and progress.
That's amazing. I would love to kind of share my story and assist those who especially look exactly like me, because there's so much golden nuggets available that the young men need to know about to be able to succeed. So they're not just seen as a number, but they're actually seen as individuals that can break through.
Yeah, and it's so funny that you say that, because it's in every realm of life. It's every realm of life. For me, even trying to break into professional football, the amount of racism, the amount of just rejection I had, and I know I was a good player. I was rejected by Leyton Orient. I had to go to Republic of Ireland to play professional football, and Romania. So that was an issue to get into that myself. But then as a coach, I knew that I'm a top coach. I've worked with Jadon Sancho. I coached him for 4 or 5 years, Reece Nelson, all these boys. But I knew going into the academy, I'm going to be restricted. So I just keep it to the grassroots. And I'm happy playing my role at the grassroots level. I've got boys at Millwall, different clubs, but it's not just about the football. The football is a vehicle. My son is 13 and he wants to play professional football. But I'm like, what passion, what discipline do you want outside of that?
That's right.
It's just always the hook. And he's going to play professional. I know that for a fact, because he's my son and I'm his dad. And I'm coaching him well, but it's just about creating that pathway, the opportunities. So, like you said, it's important, and it's about having a collective. So we should definitely connect. You sound like a Londoner, so
I am.
He is.
So I'm from South. I'm not sure where you're from, but we should definitely
South as well. South.
Yeah, cool. I detected it. So let's definitely connect and see what we can do, because it's just about having those conversations and sharing those experiences, man.
Of course. I'm all for sharing it, because mine's quite interesting.
Good. I want to hear it. I definitely want to hear it. For sure.
Guys, the link for the donation is still in the chat, so please go ahead and do what you can do for our mission to be well accomplished. So click on that link, please. And if you want to call in, the link also is in the chat. Go ahead and do that. Thanks so much, Uncle Don.
No, thank you for having me. This is amazing.
You're welcome.
We'll definitely connect.
Absolutely.
So Sayce, I know you have a YouTube channel. I'll try and put that link in the chat as well. So you guys can go and subscribe, so we'll keep the subscriber count up, because I'm sure whenever he's free, he's going to upload things, videos there. So you know what actually is happening with Mentivity. So I'll drop that link now. If Sayce you can't drop it, I will go back and fetch that and drop it as well.
Yep.
Right. I've just
fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, today I've been working on our website, so it's funny just the things that you have to do when you run your own thing. So
a lot of things.
80% of the website was me, so I've done that. I was working on that today. I know how to edit videos now. Put them together, the whole YouTube and all that stuff. So just driving the traffic, the analytics. So I'm learning so much about all these things as well. And this is what's important to showcase into young people, especially my son. Like, if I don't know something, then I'm gonna find out. I've got Google. We never had Google when we were young, and we found out so many different things. You know, it's crazy. As I was talking to my brothers yesterday, so imagine in '96 we went to Florida, and our mum bought us a PlayStation when it first came out, and we were just like, oh my gosh. But we brought it back to the UK. When we brought it back to the UK, it was playing in black and white, and we didn't know why. So we went to, back in the day, it was Tandy's, you know that. Yeah, so we went there and we spoke to the guys. Like, oh, it's 2 different systems and this and that. So we had to find out which TV had the NTSC system, which will basically be compatible with our PlayStation. But the PlayStation wouldn't work without a transformer because it had a different voltage. We had to do all this research as 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And we found this all out. And we had this TV in our house, which we thought was basically a pile of rubbish, but it actually was the only TV around that had the NTSC system. And we ended up fiddling around with it with no remote and managing to get color on from our PlayStation from America, which now you tell those stories. That's what we do. We share those kind of stories with our younger children in the family, and just saying, look, you've got a supercomputer in your pocket. You can do anything. You can find out anything. There's no excuse for you not knowing something. Even if you do not know it, you can just Google it. So what's your excuse?
That's true. We have YouTube, we have Google, so everything we need to fetch any information is available for us.
Yes, for sure. Definite. So important.
But yeah, guys, definitely. The link is in the chat. Go and subscribe to Mentivity. That's the channel. And for the people that are ready, greetings, African American mom, welcome. Kindly thumbs up the stream as you join. And the link for the donation, guys, is in. So I would like everyone in the chat to do their best. We are not saying any amount to you. Just give what you can, please. Give what you can. Yeah. And if anyone have a question, go ahead and either you just put it in the chat or you can call in before we end the stream.
Yeah, a lot of comments. I missed so many comments.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, can you see all of them now? You just have to scroll on.
Yes, there's so much. So the long-term projects in Kibera. So I'll just answer that. So I think I did touch on it, but the long term is to create a new mode of education, which is driven by conversation and informal education. So that's my background. I studied youth and community work with sports development. So my 2 passions just molded into one, which actually happened by accident. But what we're planning to do is there's a team called Go Boys FC, who are, there's a Dr. Ahmed Kalibi. He's got a pathological company, one of the biggest in Africa, and he's basically bankrolling this team, and he has plans to build basically a school space with a sports center, which we're going to do together. So it's about now creating a team. I've got a football team here called City of London FC, which my brother founded 7 years ago. So we have about 200 participants each week, teams from under 7s all the way up to under 14s. So what we're planning to do is basically really invest in Kenyan youth football, because we want to provide opportunities, not just into professional football, but also coaching. There's so many different roles in football, which is going to be $1 trillion industry soon. But also scholarships. So creating this kind of triangle of progression. So from the continent, they could potentially get scholarships in the United States or in other countries. So if we give you some background, the reason why, this is all basically all linked to my passions, because I was offered a scholarship by Howard University at the age of 19. So this was in 2001, just before September the 11th. And that was in August 2001. Once September the 11th happened, I called the coach and said, no, thanks. I'm going to stay in England. It's a lot safer. so I turned it down. So me and a friend, my best friend is like my brother now. We basically then embarked on our professional journey. But Howard University came calling back for us in 2003, 2004. And basically I submitted all my information, my transcripts. So did my friend Rebo. They accepted him, but they didn't accept me. So I wasted a lot of time in school, not because I wasn't capable. It wasn't stimulating for me. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't know why I was doing this work, and I didn't want to learn about the Tudors, and I didn't want to learn about ancient Rome. I wanted to learn about my history. I wanted to learn about things that are relevant to me. So I only got 5 GCSEs, and one of those GCSEs was PE, which Howard University rejected. One person in admissions rejected it by saying, "Oh, that's just gym. You just ran around and someone gave you a grade." I said, "No, I did theory, I did written exams," but they refused to accept me. So Rebo went off to Howard University in August 2004 by himself, and I was left here. So as I've mentioned before, I broke my leg, and that was basically what stopped me from going to Howard University. So what I'm saying is that there's opportunities through sports, through different disciplines, that you can get education. Education is the heart of everything that we do. So it's about then creating opportunities for young people if they want to go to America and get their degree, or go to other countries, or wherever it may be, for different scholarships. That's what we're going to create, this triangulated system of progression for young people, where then by way of going out, they come back in and then they upskill the motherland. And that's what it's about for us. It's really about that. So I have grand plans. I'm trying to change education. I'm trying to lobby the way that we educate. Children change every day, but the education system hasn't changed in 70 years. Children are still learning the same syllabus that I was when I was in school, and it's boring. Like, I don't want to hear about these poets. Let me do a essay on Stormzy or Dave, or let me do that. Like, that's what we do at Mentivity. We actually, through education,
it will be very fun for them at the same time they are learning.
Yeah, that's what we do. When we take children from schools for the alternative provision, we have them and they don't engage. So for us, it's about building the relationships first and foremost. And then from there, we try to engage them through their passions. So we do a consultation, say, what are you most interested in as a collective? And from that, we then create basically a curriculum of delivery for those young people. So what we've done is that we've used Netflix. We used to sit down and watch Top Boy. We watch Top Boy and we say, right, you've got to do an episode review. Write what's happened in the episode. Now, what I want to know is, what is the underlying theme in this episode? What are the underlying factors? Why did this young person make that decision in this? And that way we're educating them and they don't even know it.
Yeah, literally. That's amazing.
That's so clever.
They write pages. Even with my son, he's at the age now where I've got to tell him what the world is, what is out there as a black man. I didn't have that at the age of 13. He's 13, so I remember what it was like and what I didn't have. So I let him watch. We watched Boys in the Hood together. Me and the young man that I had from Barbados living with me. I said, right, we're going to watch this, and at the end of it, you guys are going to write me a piece, 2 pages, 3 pages. I want to know what the underlying themes are in this movie. And my son, prior to that, I think about 3 weeks before that, had told me that he just wasn't enjoying school. He said, I don't like it, Dad. I don't enjoy it. And I remembered that happened to me. So I said, right, let's sit down and watch this film. Now I want you to write me an essay on it. And he actually picked up themes. I've seen that film so many times. And what he wrote, it just literally, I was shocked. He said, the underlying theme of the whole movie was neglect.
Wow.
And I was like, hold on. What, not? Oh, yeah, you're right. And I was like, so he taught me. So neglect. And I said, okay, cool, elaborate. So he went on to elaborate that the neglect started in the home with Doughboy. His mum neglected him, but she treated Ricky in a much better, so she nurtured him. Whereas Doughboy was left to nature.
Yeah.
So that's what he said. He said it was nature versus nurture. And I was like, whoa, okay, cool. He surprised me. I'm like, oh, you're definitely my son. But he surprised me. So I was like, cool. So I was like, right, this is amazing. So he went on. He said, right, it was neglect. It was neglect from the government. It was neglect from the police. It was neglect from the community to actually get around these children and give them the support that they needed. And I was just like, I've watched this so many times. I didn't even get that.
Wow.
I didn't get that. So this is why it's important to really change the way that we're educating young people, to make it more relevant, and not by just sitting down and saying, okay, cool, look, read Malcolm X or read this, because I've tried to get him to read Malcolm X's autobiography, Muhammad Ali, he will not read it because he's just not ready to. But that book was pivotal for me. My auntie bought me Muhammad Ali, King of the World for my 18th birthday. That book single-handedly helped me to get my first professional contract. Wow. So it's nothing before its time because it's the inspiration, it's the story. And from Muhammad Ali, I then navigated towards Malcolm X, who is just, I love him. I just love everything that he stands for and what he did and the way he wasn't scared to evolve, the way he wasn't scared to say I was wrong. And he went forward with what he believed. And I just think that to be so brave in the face of adversity, knowing that you're at risk and you're a target, and still stay on task and do what you did in such little time, that's phenomenal. So when you look at that, and then you look at the story that people tell us about Martin Luther King, people don't know that the reason why he was essentially killed is because he changed his whole approach in his final years.
That's right.
He said, I fear I've integrated us into a burning house, but there's a speech where he's talking about, what about our 40 acres and a mule? What about our entitlement? Because he realized over time that his approach was wrong. So that's essentially what was his downfall. So anytime you have a militant approach or you start demanding and you start mobilizing the masses, you become a target. And this is what's going to happen. It's going to happen to everybody. Like people, like last year, Nipsey Hussle, he was a target because he was mobilizing his community.
That's right.
Through STEM. Through STEM. Like I know for a fact that what happened to him was bigger than what people think it is. So, and it was funny because it hit me. It hit me so bad. It hit me really, really deep because he was a man of the community, someone I'd listened to through his music for 10 years. And it wasn't new to me, but it really felt like I knew him, and it was a real loss. But it motivated me even more to just speak the truth, to challenge the status quo and the establishment. And what he was doing was gonna just change his whole community, change the whole outlook. So it had to stop. I'm always gonna get this. So I don't care. I will continue to do that and say what I need to say. And it was people sent me messages and said, Sayce, be careful. And I was like, be careful for what? Like be careful. Like, just, what you're doing, and this is not the norm. And be careful. But I just think, I'm not saying I'm on any level compared to any of those guys. Like, I'm just doing what I can do. But what I'm saying is that we can't be fearful of what can happen for doing the right thing. Another massive influence for me is Bob Marley. Bob Marley played every Sunday in my house as we cleaned and did our chores and cooked, and and Bob raised me. When you listen to those albums, you listen to what he says, it was prophetic. It was ahead of his time. Ahead of his time. How can you have music which doesn't even age? That music doesn't sound old. It sounds like it's made today. This guy he literally, if you listen to Legend from start to finish, the compilation, that is basically a message from start to finish, telling us how we're going to overcome our plight. Finishing with Exodus. That's the final. Marcus Garvey said it, like, we need to go back.
Prophet, man.
All we're doing is fighting fires here. That's all we're doing. We're fighting fires. We're just fighting fires, and you sort out one fire, and then another one's going to come, and we're not setting the fires. So, my sister's a firefighter as well.
Okay.
But she'll like that one. But it's just far larger than what we realize, and everyone has got to play their part and do their little bits and pieces. And I feel I'm playing my part and offering part of the solution, and that's all I'm doing. And this is why things are just gathering momentum.
Wow.
So
Uncle Don, you like to add something?
What's interesting about what you mentioned with Bob Marley is that at the time when Bob Marley was doing his thing, there was a huge majority of people who were like, that dirty Rasta man, that time. That's all he. Now the Jamaican people, the nation embraces him now. Jamaica embraces him. That's Bob. That's our man. But at the time, it wasn't like that. And I think what we can take from that as a people is that the vision and the insight that has been given on to us today is ahead of its time. So not all of our people, they might kind of like nod their heads and kind of like, oh, you know, that's a good idea. You're doing a great work. But they may not really have truly embraced what you're actually doing, the journey that you're taking on, the mission that you're on, until when it's really flourishing, then they'll come out and say, Sayce, you know what? I want in. Bring me in. But when you was talking about it at the time, they didn't really understand the vision.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
So I think we need to be like, our motivation needs to be self-sufficient, not reliant on what someone else's opinion might be about the vision or the mission. I think we've got to be really grounded in what we want, because if we're grounded, discouragement might come, but we're self-sufficient in our motivation. It doesn't matter. Agreed. We know what we're working towards. We know what we're trying to rebuild and strengthen.
Yes.
So that's like my 2 cents on that.
No, listen, that's more than the 2 pence, man. That is deep. That's really, and I fully agree with you. It's just, it's crazy, you know, because there's things that come to me, and I know, I've known for a long time there's a revolution that's going to come in my lifetime. I know that. And I've always known that I'm going to play a part. I don't know how big or how small, but I know. I've seen certain things, put it that way. You know, you dream, I have deja vu quite often. And deja vu means I'm on the right track. I'm doing what is meant to be. And I'm a very impulsive person, but what I'm trying to do is counteract that with strategy as well, and learn so much, because I'm a very emotional being in that respect. But the emotion has led me to where I am, and I know in my heart of hearts what I'm doing is the right thing, and I know that things are going to get easier, whether it's personally and collectively as a community, because people don't know how difficult it is to do the things that we do. And it's not just me, it's my brother Tyson. He's a director at Mentivity. Leon, our long-term friend, 22 years of being friends. He's another director. As I said, my mum is part of Mentivity as well. She's a teacher and a Senko. My younger sisters, they're mentors, 22 and 18 or 19 now. Everyone that works for Mentivity is people that I've worked with, and I know that they're passionate about young people. So I don't even do interviews or anything like that. I just say, look, I know that you are passionate and I want you with me, and we figure it out together. Without funding, it's difficult. And depending on contracts from schools, look, we've had some hard times, but I know it's going to work out. And I made a lot of sacrifices. We've all made a lot of sacrifices, but it's all going to be worth it. I know that it's going to be worth it. And as I said, I just know that if everyone does their part and everyone does what their heart and soul is telling them to do in terms of our plight and in terms of what we need to do for our future generations, then we're going to get to where we want to get to quicker. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it before COVID. We saw the uprisings across the world, and we saw people saying, no, this is enough. You know, we had to slow down. You know, we had to hard reset like an iPhone. We had to hard reset because we were on a path to destruction. We are. And this now, nothing's going to go back to normal. We can't now drop this momentum. We have to now carry this momentum and say, right, the government, let's learn how to make them do what they serve us. Even though we don't have a UK constitution, which I found out the other day, which I could not believe. We do not have it's an unwritten constitution. So COVID has brought more knowledge to me now. Like, I'm like, we don't have a constitution.
No, we don't know.
What do we? So I'm like, wow, this is crazy. So it's now about spreading that knowledge and getting young people to understand these systems, the systems of oppression, how to navigate it, how to infiltrate and speak on these things and guide through leadership. You know, like it's crazy. It is crazy. But this is what I feel I'm here to do, and I'm just doing it.
That's great. That's great. That's the mindset we should all have, you know, because we all have a part to play in this. So that's why I keep encouraging people on this platform. It's not everyone that will be on board for what we want to do right now, but that shouldn't stop us. We should keep, keep going and do what you have on your heart. You know that that's what you're supposed to do. Do your part. And once they realize, like Don said, they will be the one that will catch up. But we're not going to stop for no one.
No, we can't. We can't stop. Our children are watching us.
They are. and financial freedom play a major key when it comes to the things we want to do. So that's why I always encourage everyone on this platform, support Black-owned businesses. Because if we have project like this, you know, great initiative like this, it all comes with what? We have to have the funds to be able to support this amazing work. So if we keep supporting, putting our money all the time in the wrong place, guess what? The people be available to do things, but when it comes to funding, they don't have enough to do those things. So please do that and teach your children the importance of supporting Black-owned businesses, please. That's for all of us.
For sure. I mean, just touching on that, there's a friend now who, someone I came across through YouTube and the media, brother Dean Okai. He is CEO of the Solution Room and AdPack. He's actually trying to raise £1 million through the diaspora by everyone, 1 million people just donating £1. So that's what he's trying to do. And he's just literally, he's just trying to mobilize different sectors of our community. He's a phenomenal mind, a phenomenal brother. Check out Dean Okai, Access UK, Nana as well. We have a group that we have, it's called the Guidance Counselors. So we have people in there. So Justin Finlayson from United Borders, the mobile bus in Brent, he's become a friend through this work. Amani Simpson, who did the film, literally 4 million views. Amani, 4 million views on YouTube. So he's doing great work in the community through Aviard Inspires. Who else we got in there? We got Dominic Best for football domination. Someone I've worked with. He's got his own academy for young people in Bellingham near Catford. Who else we got in there? We've got Stephen Addison, MBE. He's got Box Up Crime or Box Up Fitness. I can't remember. So we've got this group. So I've got this group of men together because it's lonely when you're at the top of your organization and you're trying to take the burden of life. So we arranged a meetup just before Christmas to track some records. I just got everyone together and we just shared each other's stories, spoke about how we excel in certain roles and what we need. And literally we just created this network within a network. And it's about Black men and Black women coming together because we can't do it without Black women. You know, we cannot do it. The leadership comes from them.
You can say that again and again and again.
We can't. So we cannot. We
do this each other. That's a fact. Yeah.
Your strength and your leadership underpins everything that we do. And without that and your guidance and your moral compass, we cannot do what we do. You know, we're here to solve problems and action certain things. You know, so once you combine those minds together, and that's what I'm realizing over time. You know, I had a very kind of, you know, this world is just built on misogyny, and you got to realize that it's not about that. And when I was in Uganda, I was being educated about the whole system and the tribes and how it comes through the woman, the bloodline, and I was like, how? Like, I never knew this. Nobody ever told me this.
But so exactly.
I was learning, and I literally sat there and listened for about 2 hours to a woman called Nabila who runs an organization called Arms Around Africa in Uganda, in Kampala. She invited me over. She's a amazing woman. So she was just schooling me and teaching me. And that's what I want to do, is just go back and learn as much as possible. I'm trying to learn Swahili. I'm trying to learn. But I really need to get that because it's important. So it's crazy. It's just, you cannot, knowledge is never ending. And the minute you stop learning is the minute you stop progressing. So you just got to keep going.
Amazing.
Thanks so much.
No problem. I have
something to add before we close? We're about to close now. So the link you guys need are on the chat. So, but for those of you that are not here, even when you watch the latest upload, I make sure I link his Instagram page and the link for the donation in the description box. So guys, I'm counting on all of you. This is on all of us. So we really, really need to do our part. And thanks so much for joining. Thanks, Sayce, for honoring this invitation.
No problem.
Yeah.
You are doing amazing, and keep up with the great work you are doing. We love and appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. I would stay. I'm fasting for Ramadan. So I've been doing it for 7 years, but I'm not Muslim, but I've been fasting for Ramadan for 7 years. So I've actually just broke my fast with some dates, but I've actually got to go and eat. That's the only reason why I have to go.
All right,
so
sir. Go
I'm trying
ahead.
to discipline and all different things as well. So
That's good. That's good. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. We must do this again. We definitely must do this again.
This would be good.
Thank you for having me on.
You're
appreciate
welcome.
the love, utmost respect for what you're doing. And
Thank
this is the beginning of a very fruitful relationship. And anyone that needs support or anyone that can support Mentivity, what we do, just check us out. www.mentivity.com, @Mentivity, Sayce Holmes Lewis. Just check me out. We can literally just work together. It's about working together. So I'm always open to help, even volunteering and giving time to young people. You know, all they want is our time. They don't need the money. They want our time. They want our love. That's why they're out there doing the things that they're doing, because they want you to know that they're there. Because no one sees them. They're invisible. So again, but anything that you guys can do to help, I appreciate it. The people will appreciate it in Kibera and here. Whatever you can do. We do have a Just Giving page as well. Even if you give £1 and send it to 30, 40, 50 other people, when they do £1, it helps out. So we'll be doing our online delivery, and watch out for our announcements next week with the large investment bank, which is great, our delivery. So watch out for that.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Sorry, Uncle John.
Yeah, no, I was saying I'm gonna get in contact with the brother. I'm gonna get in contact with Sam. Absolutely.
Okay.
We all have to. Yeah. So all the details, guys, are on the latest video in the description box. So Instagram and also the link for the chat. Sorry, guys, the new people that are joining the stream. This is the end of it. Sayce have to go. I have to go. So just watch the replay, and please support. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Be safe.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
Love.
Bye.
Bye.
See you. Bye.